channel, Maps on the Map. Maps on the Map. To those who don't know me, my name is Maps, full name Mapula, South African, currently living in Shanghai, China. You're welcome to my channel, everyone. Welcome. Those coming back, welcome back. It's good to see you. If you're wondering, yes, I am still in lockdown. It's been more than a month now. But it's okay. We push on, we go forward. And it's quite relevant that I'm studying Exodus now because the famous words, let my people go. Please let us go outside. So let's get in the word. Let's get in the word. So today we are going to be reading Exodus 3. So in the last chapter we learned a little bit about Moses, his upbringing, so he had just run away and he just got married and had a kid. And now let's carry on. So chapter 3, it says Moses and the burning bush. Dun, 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 dun. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. Oh, wow. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see the strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. Wow, some people are brave, hey? So Moses is the guy in the horror movie who goes to investigate. He hears the sound and like, ooh, what is that? Let me go see. Because, he's interested in this fire. Also, it's interesting, I guess, that, on the mountain of God. That's interesting. So I guess that's where people would go to pray, maybe, or meet with God, or something along those lines, or it was just the name of the mountain. Who knows? But something interesting is happening there. Can you imagine though how weird it is? Like, okay, so there's a fire on a tree, but the tree's not burning, so it's just like flames on its own, and the tree's just like, the bush is just like green, or like nothing is happening to it. Like, I wonder what that actually even looks like. Like, what is causing the fire? I wonder if I would go nearby to investigate, or would I run away? I don't know. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush. He says, Moses, Moses! Moses said, here I am. And he says, do not come closer, said God. Take off your sandals, for the place where you're standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. So it makes sense that he would end up in a place like this because he's on the mountain of God, right? And he gets there and he has an encounter with God. So I guess in holy places you take off your shoes. Why? I don't know, but that's what is required. That's what God wants him to do. And God introduces himself to him. He says, I'm the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So, like, in case you're wondering which God, the God that these people were worshiping and the God that your father is worshiping. And at this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. Now, but how is he seeing God? Like, the fire? Like, did he feel like God was in the fire and he could see his face? But just in case, because he was hearing him and he was like, okay, scary. I don't know how I'd feel. Like, how would you feel if God talked to you like that? Like, okay, I know people talk about how God speaks to them, like as Christians, we talk about how God speaks to them. But I feel like how Moses is encountering God is totally different to how most of us encounter God speaking to us. Like I wonder, like it's just like you could really feel his presence. And the Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of the land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Okay, so this is a promise of God. He's saying, I've heard the cries and I will rescue these people. I'll rescue my people and I'll take them to a good land, to a spacious land, to a beautiful land. Like it's like prosperous land. It sounds like it, right? And this is the people that live in that land. So if you don't know where it is, that's where the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites are. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I've seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. I guess Moses probably like, oh my gosh, why did I even go to the fire? Why did I even come to this mountain? Oh my gosh, now I'm talking to God. Now I have this big task ahead of me. Like, this sounds impossible. Like, the whole situation sounds impossible. From like a burning bush, a bush that is burning but is not burning, right? And to God speaking to him. And then to God telling him to go to Pharaoh, to tell him to let his people go. The same Pharaoh that was killing, the son of the Pharaoh who was killing, is he dead already? Let's see. Yeah, the king of Egypt died and the Israelites groaned. Yeah, so he died, but the king was the one who was killing like boys, like baby boys of Israelites, so that they don't grow. And his reasoning for them to not, for the population to not grow was because they would join with their enemies and fight against them and leave. He didn't want them to leave, right? And now of course, like, I feel like, the fathers like pass on their beliefs and whatever to their sons. So now his son is there. And now Moses is supposed to go to his son and tell him, like, let my people go. Like, his son is going to be like, no, my dad has a whole legacy. Why would I let them go? Like, they are slaves. Do you know how much work they're doing? Who's going to do all the work that the Israelites are doing? And who's this God that you're talking about? Because we have multiple of gods. Like, why is this one special? Just because it's your people's God? Like, why should I listen to him? But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? It's like, I was living in his house. I ran away. And now I'm basically a nobody. And you want me to go back and tell him that? Like, who am I? Like, what right do I have? Right? Like, is this literally like, God, who am I? And God said, I will be with you. And this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. Moses said to God, okay, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they ask me, what is his name? What is his name? Then what shall I tell them? So God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name forever, the name you shall call me from generation to generation. Go assemble the elders of Israel and say to them, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, appeared to me and said, I have watched over you and have seen what has been done to you in Egypt. And I have promised to bring you up out of your misery in Egypt, in the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. The elders of Israel will listen to you. Then you and the elders are to go to the king of Egypt and say to him, the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Let us take a 3-day journey into the wilderness to offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless a mighty hand compels him. So I will stretch out a hand and strike the Egyptians with all the wonders that I will perform among them. After that, he will let you go. Okay, so Moses is literally like, but God, who am I and who are you? Which is interesting. Who am I and who are you? And God tells him, like, God doesn't even get into like, oh, you are Moses, you grew up like this, I gave you this gift. God just tells him, like, I am who I am. And he tells him, like, I'm the God of your fathers and all of that. And he tells him that I want you to go to the elders and tell them what I've told you. And they will listen to you. And once they've listened to you, you go with them and go to Pharaoh and tell him, to let the people go to sacrifice to me. Well, if I was in that situation, I'd also be thinking like, but then how am I going to go back to my people, the elders, and explain to them when the last time Moses was in Egypt, he... when he was there, he killed someone and he ran away. And he found out that people already knew. So it's like, how are they going to listen to him when they're like, this murderer? Like, what are you doing? Not only that, God's task is to, like, for him to talk to the elders. And the only way this whole thing could be possible, the only way that the elders would listen to him, the Pharaoh would listen to him, the people would end up leaving Egypt and ending up worshipping at the mountain that God says they will worship at as a sign, is it being God. It's either he believes that it is God talking to him and he does what he's telling him to do, or he just thinks, okay, maybe I'm dehydrated and I'm just going through things and stuff. But this word seems so specific and so difficult to make up. And I'll make the Egyptians favorably disposed toward this people, so that when you leave, you will not go empty-handed. Every woman is to ask her neighbor and any woman living in her house for articles of silver and gold and for clothing, which you will put on your sons and daughters. So you will plunder the Egyptians. How would you deal with it? Like, how would you, if God spoke to you about something so big, right? Like, what would you do? What would you do, right? Like, if God spoke to you and said, go tell the president of China that he should stop the lockdown and let the people go to come worship me. Would you do it? I think you should. I think you should. I think you should really believe God in that. But like, jokes aside, this seems like a big thing, right? Like, it seems like such a big thing because like it's like something that has been done in history and all of that. But what about the small things that God talks to us in our lives about? Like, are we able to listen to him? Are we able to take him at his word? Especially when there are signs around it that show that this is God. There is no way that I'm in this situation and things are like going the way that they are. And I hear God saying this, like, as much as it sounds impossible, I'm already in an impossible situation. So my question is, if you're in a situation like that, what is stopping you from listening to God and just taking his word at it. You're already in an impossible situation, right? Like, it's like you already see that, you know what, this is not normal, this is not natural, it goes against science and everything else. But here it is, I am in this situation, and this is what I feel God is saying. It sounds impossible, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Why not just do it? Why not just go ahead and do it, and see if it is God, then he will make sure that he does. There's nothing to lose. He will make sure that he does it, right? And so, yeah. So if you're in a situation where you need God to speak to you, he can. According to the word, if we believe everything that comes from the word, then God can speak to us, and it's very clear. And he tells us who he is as well. So we won't be confused in terms of like, okay, you're God, which God are you? Excuse me, like you won't be confused. You will know that this is God, this God of Jacob and Abraham, the God of our fathers, the God, you know, the Father of Jesus, Holy Spirit, you know, Father 3 in 1. Like, this God is the one who's talking to me. Like, you won't be confused if it is God. I think that is number one. If you're confused, then maybe it's not God. Because, like, judging from what we see here, it is God, right? And then, and second thing is, like, if he says he's gonna do it, then he will do it. So yeah, everyone, what will you do if God speaks to you? What will you do? I hope we all listen. I hope I listen. I hope you listen. I pray that this week will be a week where God just tunes their ears to hear his word, to hear him legit speaking to you in times of need, whether you need him to comfort you, whether you need him to direct you, whether you need him to just affirm you, give you affirmations about who you are and the direction that you should be taking. I pray that he does that for you and for your loved ones. And thank you for joining me, and see you in my next video. See you in my next video.